So we've already established that the Austrian GP last year was the last time that Charles Leclerc won a race, which is mad when you think about it. I think it all went downhill in France, didn't it, last year?
Pretty much, yeah. And I think obviously Ferrari had to turn down the engine for reliability purposes, and then
Yeah.
Red Bull Max just ran away with it.
Yeah, especially in Hungary. Not Belgium, sorry, Belgium. Max ran away with it.
Fair play to Charles for getting second in the Drivers' Championship, though.
Oh yeah, I think he sealed that pretty well, which is good.
I know there was obviously a lot of drama with Max and Sergio.
Oh, in Brazil, yeah, Jesus. But that was it's just an incident, I guess. But we are back. It is race week, and we are really looking forward to the Austrian Grand Prix. I think it's going to be a good one. Last year's was a good one.
Yeah.
Go and listen to
that's because there was a
previous
fight
episode. Yeah, there was an actual fight for the lead, and it was on track as well.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, Red Bull Red Bull Ring always produces some great racing. So I'm really looking forward to us getting back.
It's quite a simple track if you look at it, but somehow it just works as, for some good racing.
Yeah.
You got some highlights, which was Lando's last lap heroics to get on the podium.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah, that was unreal.
2020, I think it was.
I think it was 2020. Yeah, because he was very close to getting a podium the week before as well, because that was the week where it was like they did two back-to-back races, the Styrian Grand Prix. Yeah.
And the Austrian one.
Fun fact: the Styrian Grand Prix, which was I think it was the second version of that season. They very nearly did it backwards. Did the track circuit backwards? Yes, but apparently it would have. This is according to Helmut Marko. But apparently it would have just cost too much to completely change the track, and they didn't have enough time to get it FIA certified. But I would quite like to see them do it backwards, because I think that would be quite cool.
I think it would be quite cool.
Yeah, why not?
So, yeah, it always produces some good races. I remember there was last year, which we saw, there was that battle between Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Alonso. I think Zhu was there as well. It's like a 4 or 5 car battle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to race week, and it's a double header. So you got Silverstone after as well. Who are we looking at for second position?
So
there's news. There's murmurings that Mercedes feel that this will be a strong track for them.
True.
So they could be challenging the Alpines.
True.
We don't know where Ferrari are at. We don't know where Sergio's at as well.
Yeah, so. I think this is the thing. If Perez turns up, then it's P1-2, right? However, I just don't know if he's going to turn up. I don't
think he is.
I don't think he is. Yeah. And for me, I'm questioning Sergio's future with the team, to be completely honest, purely because I understand that they ideally for Red Bull, they don't want someone who challenges Max. However, they do want somebody who will consistently help them in the constructors. So you need to finish P2, P3, pretty much every other race at least, right? Let's be honest.
And you need to be winning the races that Max
can't win because
for whatever reason he's at the back of the grid or he's had to retire from the race.
Exactly.
You want to make sure that your number 2 driver is there to pick up pieces.
Exactly. So I am questioning his future, but that's a whole nother topic of conversation that we can have some other time. But if Perez turns up, it's an easy P1, P2. Also, let's be honest, it's Red Bull Ring. It's a home race for Red Bull. If you don't get a 1-2, I'd argue it's maybe slightly embarrassing considering that they have the best car on the grid. That being said, I still think Alonso P2, Hamilton P3.
I don't think Sergio's going to be P2 or P1 for that fact, because I think, like you said, it's a home race. There's a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's just in a bad run of form at the moment.
The thing is with Perez, right, is that you could honestly, Perez could turn up and win.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. He honestly could. And that's the current, I guess, frustration with Perez.
Yeah. I think it won't be. There won't be an Aston Martin on the podium.
Really?
I think it's going to be the two Mercs. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I guess we'll find out in a few days. Also, actually, there is a sprint race. Do you reckon the sprint race could throw?
Is there a sprint race?
There's a sprint race.
Huh. Didn't know.
So is this going to be like the sprint race? Is it going to be a sprint qualifying?
I didn't even know there was a sprint. Are you sure?
I think Austria has a sprint race.
Let's double check that real quick.
It's a sprint race. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I very clearly wasn't paying enough attention then. All right, nice. Well,
so
there's a
it's
sprint
going
race.
to be. So Friday will be practice 1. So it's going to do what they did last time. Practice 1, and then qualifying for the race on Sunday will be on Friday.
Yeah.
Then they'll do the sprint shootout on Saturday and the sprint race on Saturday, and the race, which the qualifying was decided on Friday. So yeah, and I think Silverstone also has a sprint race.
No sprint race.
It doesn't. No sprint race. Okay. So yeah, Austria does.
Because I thought there was going to be a sprint race, and then there wasn't.
Yeah, because there was one last year, wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then there just wasn't. So it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I reckon McLarens are going to turn up.
I hope so.
I think
for obvious reasons. I really hope that McLaren pulls something out of the bag. Do you know what? If during the British Grand Prix weekend McLaren score convincing points, I'll be happy. That's all I want, just convincing points.
I think they're going to get them on Austria, mate.
I think they could do it at Austria. So
Lando does well at the race.
Lando loves this track for some reason, which is brilliant. And we'll have to wait and see, because I think that Piastri could really enjoy this track as well.
Piastri's been doing really well.
Piastri has actually been holding a candle to Lando this season, which has been brilliant to see.
I would expect him to be getting a good haul of points as well.
Yeah, I really do hope so. And I think that they deserved points last week in Canada. I personally think they deserve points. I think one of the drivers deserved points, Lando. I think Piastri was teetering on the edge. He was doing okay, but like obviously he was just outside the points positions, just like
I think
Lando
he got
was.
Points, didn't he?
Piastri, nobody got points, but McLaren haven't scored points at Canada in a long time. I think literally since like 2013 with Button, I think was the last time they scored points at Canada. Something like that. It's like a ridiculously long time since the last score points there, which shows you the downfall that McLaren's had since the late noughties, I guess, 2009, 2010. Shows you how hard and how fast they've fallen. But hopefully they can do very well. They can do very well there. Ferrari might also do pretty well. They seem to have fixed up their strategy a little bit. From last week, or they somehow lucked their strategy to actually working. It could be 50-50. But
I think they've got updates coming as well.
I believe they have updates. Not entirely sure, but that should be interesting to see. But I think that this is the thing with Austria, is that it's such a good track because it's a proper racetrack, and I see it like Barcelona on steroids. And the reason why I say that is because Barcelona has low speed corners, medium speed corners, and high speed corners. It has some very short straights, it has some long straights, and you can get some decent varied. Typically in Barcelona, the best overall car wins. And I see Austria very similarly to that as well, because there are so many different corners, and there's like smaller straights and longer straights and high speed corners and a few low speed corners as well. So it's very varied. That second DRS zone along the back straight near general admission where we were is so powerful, because as you go into, I believe it's turn 2 or 3, but right at the top left of the corner of the track, if you're looking at it like bird's eye view, there are so many different overtaking opportunities in that straight after that corner, because you can switch back, you can push people wide, you can take the corner really late, you can brake early, and so it just breeds really competitive racing like Canada does, I think.
No, no, it does.
And I think it's great. I think it's one of my favorite tracks of the whole calendar year.
And you get some good battles there, right? So we saw the
Last
most
year,
infamous one,
of
but the most.
well, sorry,
I
go
was
on,
talking about.
please.
I was talking about Nico and Lewis.
Yes, yeah.
And there was a good one between, I think it was 2017 or 18, between Max and Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
They had a
Well,
decent
Valtteri
battle.
won. That was his first race win.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was, yep,
So,
in the Williams, which
no,
again
the
shows
Mercedes.
how. No, that he won his first race in a Williams.
No, he didn't.
I swear on my life he did.
Nope.
I'm gonna Google this.
You can Google this. He's only won with Mercedes.
Where? I could have sworn he won first F1 win. I could have sworn
They did. Oh, they did really well. I think 2014 they were P.
Oh, maybe it was his first podium. Maybe
Yeah,
it was
I think
his
it was his
first
first
podium
podium.
then. Okay, maybe
Yes.
that, because I know his first win was during the Russian Grand Prix. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, okay, I think it was his first podium then was in Austria. I do apologise. But some other good battles were last year. Mick Schumacher last
and Lewis
year
Hamilton.
against Lewis was a brilliant battle. Lando versus Lewis last year and the year before were great battles too. And then there was a 5-car battle for 2 or 3 laps between Ocon, Lando, Kevin, Mick, and I can't remember the last one. Maybe Yuki. I'm not entirely sure. But it was brilliant. Like the track breeds. It breeds good racing as far as I'm concerned.
No, it shouldn't. It looks very simple on paper, but somehow it just works. So let's.
I'm having a look at the video now, and it was somebody in an Alfa Romeo. I think it might have been Bottas. I'm struggling to work out exactly who it was, but it was definitely both the Haas cars, Ocon. Oh no, it's Alonso, because it's got the City branding on his helmet, Lando, and I think Bottas, but it might be Zhou. Again, I'm just watching a video from F1's Instagram, but it was 5-car fight for, I want to say, like P9 or 10. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Anyway,
I think that's where people like the cars can now race closer together and look at the battles it's producing.
Yeah, and then we got the DRS train like we did last week in Canada. But I'm really looking forward to this race.
And if there's any time to try that DRS rule we talked about last time, which is you can only use it
once per lap. Yeah,
Austria would be perfect.
Austria would be perfect, especially during the sprint race. Yeah, that would be absolutely brilliant. Test it during the sprint race. But yeah, I didn't realise there was a sprint race. I'm looking forward to that. It should be semi-interesting, I guess.
It should be good.